Hi, and welcome to Have a Chat. I am your host, Veronique Snow, here on a wonderful Monday with my incredible co-host, Judy Loge.
Welcome, everybody, and it's the first day of spring.
I know, thankfully.
Yeah, we're taping live, so by the time someone sees us on Friday, we'll be into spring, but officially it is today.
Yes, and
March 20th.
I love spring. It's such a wonderful season, and I'm glad winter's over almost.
Yes.
Yeah, still lots of snow in my yard and on my front lawn and all of that, but I'm starting to see the snow melt in my driveway, which is wonderful. So
it's my favorite. Summer is my favorite season, but spring is that of renewal. And once that fresh air starts coming in, and I hate the mud, but once we see the grass, it's like, yes, we got through it.
Yes, it's the
Hopeful.
smell of thawing everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Exactly.
Especially in my yard with the two dogs.
Yeah.
Anyway, Judy, you have our quote today.
I do. It's not too long, but it's a little bit lengthier than our usual one-line quotes. So it reads like this. And place your hands on your heart as though you're holding dear the most precious thing in your life. And tell yourself, thank you for being here now. Thank you for getting through then, and it's going to be a hell of a ride getting to over there. You got yourself to today. No one else did it. So tell yourself, thank you. And thank you for being so brave. And that is someone unknown to me that wrote that, S.C. Lurie.
Beautiful. I
I
love
like
it.
that.
Well, and I think I love the fact that you're right. We have to say thank you to ourselves because we, although we may get support from, friends and family, we do, have to talk ourselves into getting through those tough times and having that internal strength to navigate all of it. So we forget sometimes to say thank you.
So kind of on a follow-up to all of this and talking about loving, being still and being good to yourself, I followed up my New Year's resolution this past weekend.
Yes.
A weekend of all weekends to be festive. I chose not to be.
Yep.
I could have had so many opportunities to go to a concert or a dance or a private party or dinner even with Irish food and all of that. But you know what, Veronique? I wasn't in the mindset to be in that let's go party mood.
Yeah.
And I was tired. I've been going. And as I said at the beginning of January, I'm going to be good to myself and not in a selfish way put myself first, but take time for me before I can help other people.
Absolutely.
So I did nothing.
Good for
I had
you.
all of these events. I'm going to go. And I thought, no. I slept.
Good for you.
I read. And I went to bed early, and I ate well, and I just relaxed, and my husband too, and it was something I absolutely told my body and mind I needed to do.
Good for you.
I'm thankful I did it because it was my, that was my thought way back when is to slow down. Instead of going at 100 miles an hour, take it back to at least 70% of my daily adventures.
Well, and you never stop, ever, and neither does Gerard, of course. And so it's very true. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and so it's necessary to take some time and slow down your mind and your body, and be able to rejuvenate a little bit. And I'm so happy that you did that.
Well, it's to know when, right? It's to say, okay, here are my choices, and here are the pros. The pros would be, oh my gosh, so much fun, so many people. You're missing out on all of this and missing out on all of that, which you won't get to do again because certain things don't rehappen, like certain dancers you don't see again do the same dance. But at the same note, I came today feeling like I got through the weekend, and I know I missed fun, but I also felt good and better about my body and my mind, even though I'm into chocolate again. My friend dropped off some chocolate. I'm eating. Mom, I did. She's thinking you did not. I've been eating like whole bars this week. Not little ones, wholes.
No.
Craving chocolate. So that was the only bad thing I did in the weekend.
But it was a good thing too, though.
I don't know. I'm going to break out pretty bad, I think.
Yeah, it was a good thing. And I find, when I get to that point, so this weekend was a very full one for me.
I know.
And when I get to the point that I did, so last night I had, when I looked at the counter, in the kitchen, I had consumed a significant amount of ginger ale.
Okay.
And I know that when I'm in that mode, when my head goes to that, that I now I need a bit of a break. I need to slow down a bit because I'm drinking the ginger ale to get the sugar kick,
energy
to keep going, right? So listen, I had an amazing weekend. I really enjoyed it. We were out and about. Mom had a great weekend, so I took advantage of that. And so Friday night, I got to attend the 30th, the celebration for the Nelson Doyle dancers.
Yes.
And it was so interesting to see some of the throwback videos to way back when. There was a video, I think Ellen said that they were about 5 years in at that point, and how excited they were to be part of the Irish festival and all this kind of stuff. So it was really neat to see that stuff.
She's amazing, by the way, Ellen. Kudos
incredible.
to you for all the work she's done and those students she's taught so beautifully.
Absolutely, and to see the evolution of the dancers as well, and beautiful show. And Susan Butler and Jimmy Lawler had performed, and so there was just so much going on, and so Mom and I really enjoyed that.
And the little cuties.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
The little ones are the cutest thing
Yes.
ever. And at one point there was 2 little ones and they decided that they weren't done. And so they ran back out onto the stage.
Oh, typical children.
Yes. And then some of the older dancers were able to kind of coax them back off, but they were like, no, we're not done.
No inhibitions, just out
No.
there having the time of their lives.
I know.
It's so precious.
was so cute.
Yes, I'll catch them. I told one of the parents I will definitely be at the next show.
Yes.
It just wasn't my weekend.
Absolutely. And I mean, and the energy, I was just exhausted
Yeah.
watching them. But, and then Saturday, so Saturday was one of those full days again. We kicked off Saturday morning with a breakfast with the Veterans Association, the Peacekeepers. Dad is the entertainment chair, so we got to take part in that, which was lovely. And then corned beef and cabbage at the Legion, branch
Which
number
I took
3.
home.
Yes, and like it really, what amazes me each and every time that I volunteer at the Legion, because I'm on the executive, so I'm there quite a bit, but I am one of the younger volunteers by about 30 years in most cases.
It's the only reason you go. Can I go next year?
Yes. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like they have more energy than I do, and to
I
see
guess.
them day after day after day, so dedicated to the local veterans and all of the work that they do is just incredible to me. And all of that money goes directly back into supporting local veterans.
And thank you to
I
our
know.
veterans.
I know, it's really amazing.
Big time.
Yeah, and then I finished out Saturday by reading. I'm a lector, as are you, at St. Michael's Basilica, so I ended up reading Saturday at Mass. So that was the end of my Saturday. And then Sunday rolled around.
Yeah, Veronique, you must be just burnt right up, but you don't look it.
I do, but makeup is a wonderful thing. Sunday was amazing, and so there was the showdown for the ages between the Miramichi Fire Department and the Miramichi Police Force hockey game at Guns and Hoses.
Oh, that's a good one. That's brilliant, actually.
Yeah, Guns and Hoses. So it was tied 5-5. Yeah.
They had to go overtime.
No, they did that. I think that was
they left it.
Yeah, they left it.
Oh,
at that.
was it a real juicy? Was it a dirty game or
No,
clean?
not at all. They had a great time. Yeah.
They were gentlemen.
Yeah, it was great to watch. But I will say this, and I no slight at all to the people that were playing, but Mom was with me, and she said, how old are they, Veronique? And I said, well, they range from like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever. And she said, they're really brave. And I said, well, absolutely. But I always know now to dig a little bit with Mom. And I said, why are they brave today, Mom? And she said, there they are out on the ice. They could fall and break a hip. And I was like, Mom, they're not that. She goes, well, they could. And I said, absolutely.
That's really
so
cute.
we had a good little laugh, and then my dad met us, and we went for a great late lunch at Mike's.
Good
Yeah.
heavens, Veronique.
Yeah, and then finished off the day.
That was quite a weekend.
It was.
Yours was just the opposite of mine.
Yeah.
Yours was full tilt, and mine was very relaxed.
Yeah, but you know what? I had a great weekend and really enjoyed. There was something for everything. Everybody.
I know.
Absolutely, and then of course the Timberwolves played Sunday afternoon.
Yes.
And they did lose that one, but they're on the road for the next one, so we're fingers crossed.
And the Rotary Club of Chatham had a very successful
Absolutely.
big dance with Raglan Road at the Civic
Absolutely.
Center, and people that I talked to had a really, really
know.
great time. So
Yeah.
that was a fundraiser for our Chatham Club.
Yeah, and everybody had a great time.
Good.
So and it was great to see so many people out into our local establishments on Friday night as well, and
Supporting
really good.
our local.
I know, but there was so much going on that it's sometimes hard to find the thing that you want to do.
Yeah, so stay home.
Just to talk about a bit of bravery as well. Some sad news coming out of Edmonton. 2 police constables were killed in the line of duty. Constable Brett Ryan who was 30, and Constable Travis Jordan, who was 35, 8 years on the force and 5 years on the force, respectively. So really are heartbreaking for all of us. They had responded to a domestic dispute, is my understanding. And just so hard. And our thoughts are definitely with the families and their colleagues in the community and their colleagues across the country, because it affects each and every one of our first responders when something like that happens. So.
And even the dispute that took place, they went in and they didn't have a chance to, use their firearms because they were just shot right there and then. And it was a 16-year-old.
Yeah, who took his own life at the
Who did, and also injured and shot at his mother, who's 55, and thankfully, well, I don't know, she was in very bad condition, but she is still alive. She's 55. But I have friends that are RCMP. I have relatives that are in the RCMP, and my son's best friend Jared is RCMP, and like my cousin's husband. So every time that they go out the door, and not just the RCMP officers, any officer, you're thinking, I hope at the end of the day I see you again, because it's a real thought.
Absolutely.
I mean, here these two innocent men go along in their 30s to do a domestic dispute, never dreaming in their wildest. Their families and their wildest dreams that they never see them again.
No.
And one little wife's expecting their first child. So our condolences to all of the people who may have connections, because one of the officers was from the Annapolis Valley, Nova Scotia. And so God bless them. That was a horrific, very upsetting bit of news.
Yeah, hard to hear and hard to imagine what the families are going through at this time. So we are thinking of all of our first responders in these days. But some exciting news coming out of the sports world in our area.
Hockey. Let me grab my notes, because I want to share it and I want to have it actually right. I don't want to have quoted somebody wrongly, but I did talk to a couple of my friends who both have children on either of these teams. So I'm so excited for our NB under 15 AA female Panthers hockey team. Woo!
I know.
These girls are all from Miramichi and Rogersville. And the provincials were held in St. John this past weekend, and there are only 3 under 15 AA teams in the province.
Incredible.
Those being Miramichi, St. John, and Moncton.
Yep.
Okay, so we only have the 3 highly skilled kids. Girls. And our team won an exciting 3-0 win over Moncton in the gold medal game.
Incredible.
A team that the Panthers had not beat a season, but they had tied with. Jamie Henderson, a friend of mine, and Christine Henderson, another really good friend of mine. I had talked to her this morning. She's so pumped because Rebecca was on the team, and Jamie, Rebecca's dad, was the head coach.
Incredible.
And Krista Nash and Adam McDonald, shout out to you as well for being assistant coaches, and to the managers and all the team. Way to go, making Miramichi proud.
Congratulations.
And then our other friend, Shannon Beers Summers.
Yes.
She's a great girl, really great cheerleader, because I've been on teams with our sons together, and she's the best. They're so excited. I spoke to her this morning. The University of New Brunswick Reds defeated the University of Alberta Golden Bears 3-0 to win the gold medal in the 2023 University Cup men's hockey championship in Charlottetown.
Incredible.
And it's the 9th time the Reds have won the University Cup in its 60th year national tournament history.
60 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm so proud of Tanner. I mean, I'm proud of them all. But Tanner, you're a goaltender, and you weren't at that very last game. Another young gentleman was, but I can see how they play so well together, and to take the big championship. Bravo.
Incredible, eh?
Yes.
So exciting.
We have good teams in Miramichi. We have a lot of really fantastic athletes.
Absolutely, no question. Yeah, no question. And so exciting to see that, like even at a national level, right? Like to from New Brunswick to see those athletes and including, ones from our area. I love it.
I love the team, like the tightness of it all, the camaraderie, There's, there's girls, I mean, they might get into little scraps now, but to watch them play, it's not rough.
No, for sure, which is, and you're right, which is great to I just love watching good hockey.
Me too.
I just love watching good hockey.
More so than most sports, actually.
Yep, so it's going to be a very exciting week for you.
Actually, it is going to be. I have to wait for a little bit, though. It's only Monday.
I know. It's going to be a long week till we get there. But we had talked earlier this year about the TV show that you were a part of and you were an actress in, that was co-written by our own mayor, Adam Lorton, and James Mullinger, an incredibly gifted comedian.
Yes.
And so the premiere
Yes.
Friday.
It sounds so posh.
I know, I can't wait.
It's like a premiere. It's like
I
a red
know.
carpet. My friend said, do you
I
have to
know.
talk British? I said, no, you don't have to talk British, but I might.
Okay.
It all depends on the mood. No, but James is British, so I better not start challenging him
No.
on British talk. But
No.
yes, I mean, it was a first come, first served basis, and I had the opportunity to invite my immediate family
Yes.
and a few special relatives,
Yes.
and anyone that's on Have a Chat that co-hosts with me. Co-host with
Yeah.
me. I had a privilege
Yeah.
there. But it's going to be lovely because
Yeah.
they're going to show 3 of the parts of the 6-part series.
Yeah.
They're going to show 3 of the segments,
Exciting.
and then there will be like a meet and greet at the beginning and a nice little reception afterwards, and a little question and answer period, and we get to dress up a little bit and celebrate the release, which will be March 25th.
Brit out of water.
Brit out of water. Here we come.
I can't wait. In our last 2 minutes, Judy, you did have some stats though on colon cancer that we just wanted to touch on to make sure.
Yeah, it's sad that just recently there's been a lot of studies proving that the under 50 age group is really rising in getting the colorectal cancer. And it's due to a lot of different factors. Some of it's genetic, but a lot of it is due to lifestyle.
Yeah.
The younger people are sadly, there's a level of obesity there that's been rising.
Yep.
There's the gut bacteria that causes that to go to the bowel, etc. It's all connected.
Yep.
The processed food,
Yeah.
the high sugary drinks,
Yeah.
the high fatty foods, all this stuff is adding up. And sedentary lifestyle, gaming and sitting and all of that. They're not using their physical activity like we did as kids.
Right,
So
yeah.
it all is coming together. And unfortunately, yes, it's, let me see this, Veronique.
On the rise, eh?
Yeah, I won't take your time
No,
up,
it's
but
okay.
just,
Yeah.
yes, colorectal cancer is really
And probably
on the rise.
Probably part of that as well is not necessarily being comfortable going for screening, right? Because we don't want to talk
They
about
don't, but there are very signs for the young people listening, not just the young people,
Yeah.
because certainly it's prominent with the older people too, but if you have like irregular stool, like any blood in the stool, abdominal pain, if you have, yeah.
We're gonna go to break,
Okay.
so don't go too far, everybody. We have 2 amazing guests coming up next, and we'll see you in a couple of minutes. Hi, and welcome back to Have a Chat. I am your host today, Veronique Arsenault, joined, of course, by my incredible co-host, Judy Loche.
Nice to hear that, Veronique. I try to be the best I can be.
Well, yes, that's exactly, and you always are, always are. And we are so pleased to be joined today by Donna Diebold,
Yes.
an incredible author who is going to be telling us all about herself and everything she does. But we're so pleased to have you today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Welcome.
I know, it's very exciting. So, Donna, for those out there who don't know you, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I was born and raised in Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario.
Yeah.
And I have one sister. And after high school, I went to Teachers College in Stratford, Stratford, Ontario.
Right.
And I became an elementary school teacher, and I taught in both Canada and the United States.
Oh, did you really? Yeah.
What part of the U.S.? One state or various?
No, just one state, Illinois.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Amazing.
And she's a writer. I have to say I have not yet read that book, but I intend to because Veronique and I are both very avid readers.
We are.
That's where my eyes, I tell people, are bloodshot all the time. I read into the wee hours of the night. So what age for you, Donna, when you started taking an interest in writing? Was it something you liked as a child in your spare time or during school, the creative writing part in English classes?
Actually, I think I'd have to say I was 7 years old in grade 2. And our grade 2 teacher gave us a poetry assignment for Valentine's Day.
Okay.
And she was very strict. It needed to be 4 lines and it had to rhyme. And I won the contest.
Oh.
So I got a big, wonderful sucker that I really, it lasted days and days.
Of
4
course it did.
lines, that was all that you were allowed.
That's all we were allowed.
Okay, you're
Yes.
using your mind on that one then.
Oh, yeah.
Creativity.
Yes, it was the rhyming part that she was very,
Yeah.
a stickler on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then in grade 6, my grade 6 teacher assigned us a creative writing project, and we could write on anything we wanted. So I began. And after several minutes, the rest of the students were putting their pencils down, and I'm writing away madly. And the teacher came past, and he saw that I was beginning my 7th page.
Oh my goodness.
And he said, I think you need to wrap it up. So I thought,
I'm not ready.
I wasn't finished. So I think that started the process of me wanting to become a writer, or at least enjoying writing.
Do you remember what you were writing about?
I have no clue.
No, but it was good. It's the best you ever wrote.
I remembered my poem, but I don't remember this 7-page
theme.
thing.
No. I
No,
mean, that's
it's
a
gone.
long time ago. If they asked me that question, I probably wouldn't know either, but
I have no clue.
No.
I know it was adventure,
okay.
and I know I was taking several characters through plots, and there was a conflict in it, and so I thought, okay, I've got the making, but only
Amazing.
on retroactive thinking do I realize that I had done that.
My mom would have loved you. She taught grade 6 for years and years. Taught for 35 years.
Yes, she did.
Mostly grade 6.
Yeah.
And English.
Yeah.
So I'll have to introduce you two. You can start writing together.
Yeah. Mom taught 32 years kids with disabilities. Yeah. When you think about, all that you've done and everything, what types of books do you enjoy most?
If I were to read something that I enjoy, it would be historical fiction.
Oh yeah.
I like back to Victorian times,
Me
even
too.
medieval times.
Me too.
And so if I'm to pick up a book, I would do that. Having said that, in becoming a writer, I also picked up the nonfiction to see what kind of books I
Really? Yeah.
needed to know on how to write certain things.
Yeah. Broadened your horizons.
I did.
Yeah.
It's huge. I mean, I could name just a few people I know personally that have written books. So how do you say, I'm really getting serious about this? At what point in your life did you say, okay, I have this going on and that going on, but I'm going to dedicate the rest of my time to really, or the bulk of your time, to writing and creating? And so tell us how it began.
Referring back to my teaching days, there were themes throughout some of the curriculum, and I like to complement the curriculum with some story time.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to look for some books at story time, I couldn't find any. For example, I was teaching grade 1, and I had decided to teach migration. So I went looking for some little storybook on migration suited for my first graders, and I could find nothing. So I created one there on the spot with the kids, and it was about a goose who was called Victor, and Victor went to school. He was in grade 1 and he's learning his alphabet, and with each alphabet letter, he would learn something different. So of course, F would be the fly, and he would get to S, that would be south, that sort of thing.
Great.
And so then that was fine. However, Victor had a problem. He was afraid of heights.
Oh, Victor.
Good mind, though. I love this story. I really like where it's going.
Yeah.
So then it got to the end where Victor was learning the letter V for Victor, and that was also the pattern that they would fly in the sky was a
Right.
V.
Yeah.
Donna, nice.
And he asked his teacher, well, what about the next letter? And she said, oh no, we have to stop at V because the next letter is W. And W stands for winter, and then it's too late.
My gosh, that's creative.
I
No,
love
that's
it.
beautiful.
It is beautiful.
And what the children must have been so fortunate to have you for, the teacher, and then to tell something that beautiful how with the alphabet is really good.
Well, the parents gave me feedback that
Love
Victor
it.
had made it to the supper table.
I love it. Do you remember? For the food. Because he flew and then he got the food. So what did you call it? The book?
Victor.
It was Victor.
Just
the title.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
I love
Any
it.
kid would love that. Wouldn't
I know,
they?
I know.
Could understand that.
Now, absolutely, and I love Victor. Tell us about the book though that you've written that's here, and what
Yes.
age is it geared towards, and what are we going to learn when we get in there?
Okay, my book is called On the Other Side of Night, and it is geared for the YA audience, which is young adult, and anywhere from ages 12 to 18. And it might be best for me to just read the
Definitely.
background
Absolutely.
because it is a summary of what I have.
Yeah.
Perfect. Nice cover, by the way. Beautiful illustration.
Thank you. 12-year-old Richard Bennett is consumed by his fear of cemeteries and thunderstorms, and he sometimes finds himself the victim of schoolyard bullies. Little do they know Richard is skilled in the martial art of Aikido and highly rated opponent in sword fighting competitions. However, Richard is unaware how his expertise and abilities will come to his rescue when an unforeseen accident plummets him into a world where only his dreams have dared to venture.
Love it. Again, it's amazing, creative, imaginative, all of the above.
I know. I can't wait.
So
I
people
can't
did
wait.
see the cover, and did you have a say in the illustration of that, Donna?
I did. I worked with the illustrator who, my publisher is based in the United States, and he chooses the illustrator because he was a traditional publisher, and there are different kinds.
Yep.
So yes, I did have a little bit of
I
a
love
say.
it.
Incredible.
You're one of the fortunate ones that have had the chance to have a book published, because I know all kinds of people that that's their dream. They keep writing and getting turned down, and they're just getting so frustrated. But the process is quite huge. So when
It's
you
very.
got the story, which you just read, you had it all outlined, and it took you, I don't know how long to write it, but tell us about that process.
Okay. The process of writing is actually quite intensive. So first of all, if there's someone who's interested in becoming a writer, they need to, first of all, decide on the genre.
Yeah.
Now, genre can be anything from science fiction, historical fiction, mystery, excuse me, romance, dystopian, whatever they choose. Usually, but not always, it's what they would be interested in reading.
Okay.
And then, after they've decided on what genre they might like to write, then they need to decide on what age group, which target audience they would have, whether it's the MG, which is middle grade, YA, young adult, NA, new adult, and so on.
Oh, interesting.
So, and then
Yeah.
there's storybooks for the younger kids and that sort of thing.
Okay.
So after they've decided that, if they are a new writer, they might consider taking a course. I took a course called the Institute of Creative Writing. So I took that for 2 years. And then I also purchased books about plot and what makes a good character, how to make a hook, make sure your character has a character arc, a story arc, and all sorts of things for the denouement and so on when you are finishing up your story. So after you get to that point, then you start writing. And the writer will fall usually into two categories. Either they will be a plotter or a pantser.
A plotter or a pantser?
A plotter or pantser. So a plotter, for example, I brought this along, is one who's going to plot the story piece by piece by piece. So by the time that they are finished deciding on this scene, I'm going to do this, and they have gone through the whole gamut, then they begin to write using their little notes.
Right. Okay.
A pantser is one who writes by the seat of their pants.
And which are you?
I started out as a pantser. I flip once in a while if I get stuck into a plotter, but the pantser just starts writing and goes for it.
That's crazy.
And they finish when
Yes.
they're done, they're done.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would be. I think I would be that too, because I don't know about starting the story and then knowing what your ending's going to be, because there's so much in between that could change, and your characters come to life, and then you see them as a different one, and then they take on a different, persona, and all of that. So interesting.
So after you've decided how you're going to attack it, you start writing and editing them. So you'll edit your own because you want it to look its best. When you are finished that, and it can take years, then you look for beta readers. So beta readers are those people who you usually don't want mum.
You're gonna love it. It's the
Mum
best
will love
thing
it
ever.
no matter
Yes.
how it ends. But you're looking for another author. You can look for a librarian. You can look for another writer. Friends who are interested in that genre
Right.
and even that target audience. And you send it out to them and ask for them to review it. When that comes back and you have made those corrections, then you start looking for a publisher.
Yeah.
Now, publishers again fall into 3 categories. So you've got your traditional, traditional publisher. They're the ones that you have your story ready, you hand it to them, and good luck. Now, in taking over your manuscript, they are basically saying, I think I can sell your book and make a profit.
Okay.
So fair enough. But in doing that, like there's pros and cons to all of them. You are giving everything over to them. So they're going to hire their editor, their illustrator.
Yeah.
They're going to make decisions even on your title.
Okay.
That you might not necessarily love, right?
You might not, and there have been some where
Yeah.
the title has been changed and they didn't like it, but it's the
It is what
publisher
it
has
is.
it. It is.
Yeah.
Then there's if you decide, well, I don't like that. I want to have more ownership. You might consider self-publishing. But now you aren't paying anything up front, but you are paying for everything. So you hire an editor, you hire an illustrator. You have to learn about ISBN numbers. You need to do copyright and all those things. Find a printer. So it's all on you. But it makes you the most money if that's what
Right.
you're wanting to, but you have total control and you make all the decisions. If you think, well, I want a combination. I want to write, I want more ownership, but I don't want to be bothered with all that other stuff. Then there's called a hybrid publisher who does all that other administrative kind of work, and but you have more say in it. But again, they are quite costly to hire one.
How terrifying.
So
All of it.
Yeah.
It's amazing though to know what that process is and how involved it is. Thank you for that. Thank you.
That's new to me too. I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard tidbits about the process, but nothing like that to know the whole gamut.
Yeah. And we don't have a whole lot of time left in our.
Aw.
We do have a couple of minutes though. So talk to us a bit about the feedback that you've gotten.
most of my feedback has been oral, verbal. It's very difficult, but really important to authors to receive feedback that has been sent to your email, or if you have your book online somewhere to give feedback.
Yes.
My feedback has been very positive from basically senior adults,
Okay, interesting.
although I have had it from children too.
Yes. Yeah. Where do you get your book, online or in stores? Or?
My book is available, a signed copy, at Mill Cove.
Oh, that's a
Coffee.
beautiful.
Yes,
That's in
yes.
Newcastle, by the way, Miramichi West, ladies and gentlemen, on the square in Newcastle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mill
Yes.
Cove Coffee. You can find this delightful book.
Yes.
That's quite a thing.
And it's also on Amazon.com as a paperback, but only in Kindle on Amazon.ca.
Oh, really? Okay,
Nice.
interesting. So for just in their last couple of minutes, a piece of advice to writers out there, or people who want to become writers.
Be prepared for a long process. Now, my book took 4 years, but that's maybe middle way. I have heard others 10, 20 years, or some, they can write 3 books in a year.
Okay.
So I think it might depend on your area of expertise, the length, whether you're writing a short story, a poem, a novel,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
But we're having to go, but you will write another book, right? You're going to be?
I do have one in the works,
Good.
and it's the same genre and target audience, and it is with a 13-year-old female main character, and in the sequel, she ages to 16.
Oh, okay.
So
Fun.
I'm trying to age with my readers
Yeah.
and also challenge those who are really good readers and 13 years old.
Congrats. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely, and we are so thrilled that you got to spend some time, that we got to spend some time with
Yes.
you today, and to see your first book. We're looking for. I know Judy and I will pick that one up actually because we do love to read. So,
Love it, love it.
Thank you.
but really
Can't wait.
thank you, and thank you for all of for walking us through that process because that's it's really tough to understand how it all goes. But don't go too far, everybody. We have another wonderful guest joining us right after the break. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. Hi, and welcome back to Have a Chat. I am your host today, Veronique Arsenault, joined, of course, by my wonderful co-host, Judy Loge.
Well, I say the same to you. It's a fun time in my life to join Veronique every Monday for the past number of, 9 years?
Yeah, we're in our 9th year, yeah.
And it makes me happy. I get to see her. Like, she lives close by, but
Yeah.
not like this. We're
No.
always together, and it's a joy.
Yeah, we get to have a little chat
Yes.
on Have a Chat.
With awesome guests.
I know. So we are joined today by another wonderful guest. We just had Donna Diebold join us, talk to us about her book. And now we are, and I love spending time with Cindy too, because she and I were back in the pool for a little bit there a while ago, and I will get back to the pool because I miss it.
Yes.
But Cindy Green is joining us now for this segment, and she is an autism swim provider.
That's right.
And it sounds so interesting.
Intriguing.
It does sound so interesting. And I Cindy and I spent a bit of time on the master's swim program. So I had been a swimmer when I was very young. Got back into the pool a couple of years ago, and now miss it. It's hard to get there, especially with mom in the current way we are. But looking forward to getting back into the pool at some point. But Cindy, for those who don't know you out there, and there wouldn't be that many, tell the viewers about you.
Sure. Well, I'm originally from Perth Amboy. I've been living in Miramichi for over 30 years now.
Oh my goodness.
I know, crazy. Both of my children were born here. My son is 24 and my daughter is 20.
Nice.
Yep. So, and I've been a single mom for 16 years. That's when I entered the autism field. It's been 16 years now.
Wow, eh?
Yep.
You're an
yep.
awesome mom by all
Oh,
accounts.
thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I do hear
Thank
that.
you.
Really one of the best
Yeah.
out there.
At the time, I needed a job,
Yeah.
and found something that was suited to my experience and my training, and with the autism aspect, and I haven't left it since.
No. So, like Veronique, I have another question or two down in my mind. But
Yeah.
were you like Veronique? Were you an avid swimmer from the time you were a little girl
yes,
on?
Yes, I think I was born in a pool before that was a thing.
Yeah.
And I took swimming lessons. We had a tiny little outdoor pool. Well, actually, it wasn't tiny. It was a good sized outdoor pool, almost across the street from our house where we lived in town. And I remember going to swimming lessons, but I don't remember having to learn. It just came very natural, so progressed through the levels and became a lifeguard and worked at a summer camp, and just absolutely loved to be in the water. Got away from it as an adult, but got back to it here in Miramichi about 6-7 years ago now, and became a lifeguard supervisor. And that's when I could see that the lifeguards need extra tools in their toolbox.
Yeah.
I could see that they were experiencing some challenges with managing 10 children in one class with one instructor, or
Right.
5 young children in one class with one instructor, sometimes even 2. It was difficult. There were just some extra things that they needed. And then I became the executive director of Autism Resources Miramichi, and I thought, as soon as I sat in that seat, oh, let's bring these together.
Yes, absolutely.
Good
Let's
thinking,
bring, because
Cindy.
I sat in that chair while I was still working as a lifeguard supervisor. So I started the research. I started chatting with parents. Does your parents of children who have autism, does your child like water? Oh, yes, he loves the water, was the answer.
Yeah.
Have you tried the swimming lessons? Oh, yes, it was terrible. There
Yeah.
was a negative experience. This happened and that happened. I was like, okay, this is what we need to do. This is what we're going to do. So I continued the research and found Autism Swim out of Australia. And they're an international organization that provides online modules for certification to become an Autism Swim provider. later.
Okay.
So then I secured some funding. I just rolled with it.
Yeah, you're answering my
gonna
question, by
happen.
the way,
I
is
know.
how it all began.
This is how it began.
Yeah.
I said, we're just going to roll with this. So I had a wonderful person who helped me apply for a grant. As soon as I described my idea, he's like, yeah, we have to do this. So away we went, got the funding, got the certification. I also put some surveys out there for parents to answer. Would you participate? Do you think this is a need, et cetera? And it was 100% yes. 100%. So away we went. We rented the pool. We opened a registration. We charged a very small fee because parents of children with autism already have a lot on their plate. They often have extra things they have to pay for. So we kept it low, and in 2 weeks we filled with a waiting list.
Wonderful.
So that was 2019.
Okay.
A 10-week session. We followed the city's schedule, and in January began a second session, and then COVID hit.
Of course it did. Of course it did.
So that was March 2020. We were pulled out of the pool and waited for 2 years because this is a vulnerable population. We did not want to take a chance. So back in the pool in March of 2022. Last year, did a program. We filled in 11 hours with a waiting list.
Wow.
Took a break over the summer because it just wasn't a good fit for the schedule, and began again in September. That was the one that filled in 11 hours, full again, and just wrapped up another session last Tuesday, and that one filled in an hour and a half.
So it's much needed and much loved.
It's
by
highly
the,
needed. Yep, it has been just been
Beautiful.
incredible success. And I can't remember where I was going. The
I love
focus
the
of the
t-shirt,
thank you. I have some answers to your questions, but
Well, and
That's how it
you
started.
know what? So when Cindy was still with Autism Resources Miramichi, so I was working at the PACE Center at that point, and
Right.
and I have to tell the story, Cindy, because it made such a difference in our workplace. So we had always done a partnership where we did a work program with the students at Autism Resources Miramichi. They would come in for a certain period of time, and they would do some work around it, and it was always a great program. But then we had some waves of hiring, and we had some of our employees that were coming in had self-identified at that time as being on the autism spectrum, and so really what I was a senior manager at the time there, and I wanted our employees to give the best shot at success for everybody, right? Because we do a lot of training in the federal government, and it's amazing on equity, but making the workplace a really great place to be for everyone, right? And so
inclusive is the word you're
yeah,
looking
very
for.
inclusive,
That's the word,
and so I had reached out to Cindy, and I said, I really want you to come in and spend some time with all of our employees, and help walk us through some of the best ways that we can make that more of a great environment. And I remember Cindy came in, she did 4 sessions for us because we had hundreds of employees at the time, and everybody walked out of there going, oh my God, I love this. This is so awesome. How do I make this better, right? Each and every day. And it was just, they were such great sessions and very empowering to all of us.
Impactful.
And really did leave an impact on us.
That's so
Good for
wonderful
you.
to hear. Yeah, and I think it's just about understanding, and then tolerance and acceptance, because sometimes we need help and sometimes we can be the helper.
Right.
That's how I approach it with young children, right? It's just like, okay, everybody has challenges,
Yes.
everybody has
Yes.
strengths, and
Yes.
sometimes we just need to help each other.
Yeah.
Do you have a son or daughter with autism?
No.
You just have this
No.
passion
Yeah.
to help those parents that are dealing with
Yeah.
the child with it, because there's so much, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so much to learn about autism,
Yeah.
and
There really
there's more
is.
emerging every day.
Every day, and if you ever encounter someone who acts or says they know everything about autism, just run the other way, because there's no way anybody can know everything. It's always changing, and we're learning from individuals who have autism. We're learning as they find their voice and as they start self-advocating. We're learning from them, and the field is always growing and changing.
But I bet you have
Yeah.
kids that can swim.
Oh my goodness. One of the aspects of autism
Yeah.
tends to be a high attraction to water.
Yes.
And when you
So
chat,
safety.
yes, there you go. That's what it leads to. So when you chat with parents, oh my gosh, love the water. My children will come in from outside with their snow gear on and turn on the water in the tub and get in the water. That is a high attraction.
Interesting.
Yes, and also there tends to be a lack of understanding dangerous situations. And there can also be a tendency to wander or elope from the home without communicating that I'm leaving. So when you combine those aspects of autism, the drowning statistics for children under the age of 14, they're 160 times more likely to drown.
Oh my goodness.
That is very, very high. As a parent, I would be terrified.
Disturbing.
So the main focus of our program is water safety. It's not learning front crawl or butterfly or back crawl. It is water safety. And we're teaching a demographic who tend to need rules to function. Not that they thrive, but they need the rules and they need a daily structure, right? So if we can teach a child who's approaching the river to stop, oh, I need to wait for an adult. If we can teach that big rule, or, oh, I need to wait for permission before I enter the water, then maybe we can help prevent accidental drownings.
How vital.
Very.
It's incredible.
That safety program is top.
Yep. And then it also provides a water therapy opportunity, because of being in the water can be therapeutic. It feels so good. I know you know it. I feel like a mermaid when I swim. I don't look like a mermaid, but
Yes, and you do.
It feels we're weightless in the water. We can do activities that offer interoception and proprioception input, and often children with autism have a higher need for those. So we can do that in the water. And our program teaches one-on-one. So every child has their own instructor.
Wow.
Really?
Love
Yes.
that.
I did not know that.
One-on-one. So we just started a new program on Saturday that is being funded by Jordan's Principal Initiative for First Nations kiddos, children and youth who have
Gosh, there's a lot
autism.
happening. Wow,
Yeah.
and really
So
good
it was
stuff.
very, very exciting to have that, and I'm hoping that it'll just continue and we'll be able to expand into other communities. We have it here in Miramichi because it's the most central one of the 7 communities that we serve, and we have parents traveling an hour, 45 minutes to come for half an hour in the
Parents
pool.
must love the one-on-one. I know I had to hire someone to do my kids one-on-one because I was at the pool and I thought, no, I need them to be more one-on-one. Because they were just, So the focus was key to get
I
them
just
to
got
swim.
an email this morning from a mom. This was unsolicited feedback. I just have to tell you how much she adored, capital letters, her lesson. Her dad says she didn't shut up the entire time. LOL. I cried when he told me how well she did. This is from the mom. I know too many. She looks typical, but this was huge for us. I'm so very grateful for her being able to participate. Something just for her where she can be successful, all while being her quirky little cute self.
And I'm not crying, you're
That's
crying.
why we do it.
Oh,
That's why we do it.
Yeah.
that
That's
is
our
beautiful.
why.
It made me missed up for sure.
Oh my
Gratitude and just that kid so happy.
Yep, and the love of water is it's considered a highly preferred environment, and if you're using scientific ABA terms, so we can use that to teach these really important rules about being safe around the water. How to choose a life jacket that fits me properly, and why we wear a life jacket. How to find the bottom with my feet. How to follow the bubbles to the light. Things like that. Accidental entries, underwater orientation in case I fall in and it's dark. How do I find my way out? Crawling along the side. Entering and exiting at different places of the pool, not the same one every time. And if we have a child who can't get in the pool, guess what?
You throw them in.
No. We say, that's okay.
I'm
You
joking.
can come and do whatever you can do.
Oh.
And because we teach one-on-one and we don't follow a set curriculum, we teach the children where their skills are.
You meet them where they're at.
Right, 100%. So if a parent needs to miss 3 or 4 weeks, they can't fall behind.
Right.
Because we're going to pick
Lovely.
up right where you left off. If you already know how to click, we're going to work with that. If you don't, we're going to teach you.
Well laid out program.
Yeah,
Very recently, you received some recognition.
I did.
And I love it.
Yeah.
And so I want to say, because you're quite, you don't tend to, puff yourself up, but
I don't.
so you were Autism Swim Provider runner-up out of 1,200 providers across 26 countries.
That's correct.
26 countries.
I know, right?
That's amazing.
Out of 1,200 for the
1,200,
runner-up.
yeah.
That is beyond
It
exciting
was-
and a proud moment for you.
It
Tell us
was-
what that meant to you.
Yeah, it was wonderful to be recognized. And it's kind of hitting me slowly.
Yeah.
And we wrote a beautiful media release, and it's been sent out, and there's been, what's the word?
Some feedback.
Feedback.
Yep.
There's been phone calls, there's
Yep.
been emails,
Yep.
there's been news stories, and
Beautiful.
I think it's just kind of hitting me now that this program, not how good it is or how important it is, because I knew that. That's
Yes.
not news for me, but a short time period. So 2019 we entered the pool,
Yeah.
and we've been out for 2 years.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
really, that's only like 3 years. I can't do math.
Yeah.
Me neither.
It's me
But
either.
in your last
Oh,
2 years, so
Right,
then look,
there you go.
You've still come along as the
Yeah.
huge winner out of all this.
So to be recognized by the Autism Swim Organization from Australia was really
It's incredible.
it was fulfilling, I guess is a good word. I
was
know
it
we're
phone
doing.
call, email?
It was an email.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it was
Open
an
that up.
email. Yep. And the winner is a business out of the UK. They serve something like 200 or 300 children.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
heavens. And then
so-
Canada, Cindy,
I
go,
know,
go,
I
go.
know.
Well, I was the first to be certified in Canada.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
That's
so
incredible.
proud of you.
Yeah, and this was the first program in New Brunswick
Okay,
for Autism Swim. Yeah.
awesome.
In our last minute, 'cause that's how quick it goes, right?
know.
So in our last minute,
Yep.
what do you want parents out there to know?
Oh, I want them to know that take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah.
We know we come to this on our side. We come to this knowing that most children with autism love water, and we want them to know they can come to us with their needs, their child's strengths, and their child's challenges, and we will adjust for them. We want to teach them. If they learn nothing else, we want to teach them wait for permission before entering the
Right.
water.
Safety.
Perfect.
Yeah, safety.
What a program
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah, and I do firmly believe that everyone should learn to swim.
Me too.
Agreed.
Me too.
Agreed. And then there's the myth that because we know how to swim, we're safe.
Right.
And we are safe to a degree, but we're not 100%
No,
safe.
no.
You know, those memes that make fun of lifeguards working at the Olympics?
Yeah.
Those lifeguards are there for a reason.
Well, and somebody fainted. She
There
was
you
a synchronized
go.
swimmer,
The
and she
coach
sunk to the
jumped in.
bottom.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
And
the coach jumped in and
Yeah,
saved her. Yeah.
exactly.
So just because you're in an audition knowing how to swim, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a great life skill.
Yeah.
But knowing the water safety rules
Yeah.
is even more important than knowing how to swim front crawl.
that is
Yeah.
such an impressive
Yeah.
program.
yeah, and I always feel like I've lost 50 pounds when I get in the
Me
I
too.
love the water.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Just like that.
I know.
Beautiful
It's
feeling.
a wonderful thing.
Swim like a mermaid.
Well, thank you so much to both of our guests today. We had an incredible chance to talk with these incredible women. So thank you to everybody. We want to wish you a very wonderful week, the first week of spring. Enjoy it, and we will absolutely see you next week. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.